everybody. It is late night with Keto Mom. Welcome to Keto Mom. My name is Stephanie Milkey, and I asked a question earlier today on the Keto Mom page, and I said, hey, let me know your low-carb keto questions. So we're going to do like a rapid fire, and I want to say a couple things. First of all, thanks for tuning into the page, and thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. You all are amazing, and your presence matters. Number two, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a keto expert, although I have been learning and sharing and learning a ton over the last 7.5, almost 8 years. And so I'm going to answer these questions to the best of my ability. At any point in time, you can ask any questions below. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. It is my website that you can click on recipes, click on mindfulness. We go through books, click on trials. I talk about ketones, the supplement that I drink, that I have been drinking for almost 8 years, and I will always drink. So if you are ready, my husband is going to read the questions that you asked earlier today. There was like 70 of them, so I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them, but I will get to most of them. So rapid fire, here we go. Not a doctor, not an expert, but from a mom's point of view. Babe, what is our first question?
WPG says, how do you deal with late night snack cravings?
Oh, how do you deal with late night snack cravings? I love that. So I always tell people, especially if you're intermittent fasting, once you're done with dinner, shut down the kitchen, shut off the lights. Like, you don't need snacks. And it really is being aware of the triggers, like watching a movie, being with your family. Everybody has popcorn, the smell of popcorn. And so it's honestly an awareness of late night snacking and then just being mindful. So there's things that can take sweet cravings away. Somebody tell me if you've ever done this before. I'll tell people, if you really need something sweet and it's later in the night, eat a pickle. It'll take it away. And or go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, scrape your tongue, drink some water, done. And it honestly takes a little bit of time. It's going to take a week or two. Like, you just have to get into the habit of, I'm not snacking at night. I'm not going to do it. Especially if you're on this intermittent fasting track, which a lot of you are doing. Intermittent fasting is incredible. So when I'm done eating because I'm going to go 16 hours before my food window opens. So brush your teeth, floss your teeth, scrape your tongue. If you needed to before those, eat a pickle, drink some water, shut out the kitchen lights. All right.
Cindy asks, what's your favorite low-carb meal?
Cindy, what is my favorite low-carb meal? Honestly, it's what I just made the other day. Tacos. I love beef tacos. I love chicken tacos. I use the crock pot. We have tacos at least once a week. It's something that can be versatile for the entire family. So if you're the only one doing keto, low carb, if you're the only one that's on this diet lifestyle, then you can have the low carb wraps or lettuce wraps or, a taco salad, and your family can choose what they want to, but in general, it works for everybody.
Kristen King asks, how to maintain once the goal?
How do you maintain once you reach your goal? Good question. I'll tell people in general, you know what? This is actually a great question because I often get people say to me, I did so great with keto. I did it years ago or a year ago. I lost 30 pounds. I lost 40 pounds, and then I gained it all back. And so I want you to think about it like this. Depending on if you do strict keto or low carb, like when you're changing your habits, you're hopefully creating a lifestyle. So it starts as a diet. You create these healthy habits and they turn into a lifestyle. So when you reach what you want to reach, you don't go back to eating in the old ways. You don't go back. I'm not saying you're not going to have the weekends off, or you might have a little bit more pasta. Maybe you had no pasta. Maybe you're saying yes to the pizza when you didn't before. But in general, I want you to realize that when you decide to have certain foods, what happens in your body? It causes a trigger or a reaction, or it causes your body to go, I want more of that, right? It's like an instinct to go, I want more pizza. I want more bread. I want more sugar. I want some more. So if you're going to have a little bit of those treats, you've got to be able to bring yourself back to eating a healthier way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. What else? What do you got?
Violet asks, how do I start back after falling off for a few weeks?
All right. Violet says, how do I get started back after falling off for a few weeks? I would say a couple of things. Intermittent fasting is great, but if you're not ready to intermittent fast, if you don't know what that is, we can talk about that in a second. Either number one, drink some water, and just be super, super mindful. First of all, don't beat yourself up. So you can't change the past. And even if you've been doing really well and maybe you've taken a week off or you went on vacation or it was a weekend or even a couple weeks, it doesn't wreck everything that you've done prior to leading up to those weeks, right? So give yourself a little break. And if you're just, the easy answer for me is I drink ketones. So for me, I drink a pack of ketones. If I had a weekend where I chose something not great, I'm going to feel it, right? But I drink ketones. They get my brain clear. They turn my appetite, like they help me with my appetite control. They give me energy to move. I feel incredible and I go about my day. Now, if you don't have ketones, if you've never tried them, I'll talk about them in a second. Post trial in the comments and we can chat. It's just a packet. You put it in some water. I've been drinking them for almost 8 years. But if you don't have them, I would say simple things like drinking water, cutting out the sugar, low carb meals, if you can, intermittent fast, and just be aware of how much you're snacking. So if you're getting back on track, no nighttime snacking. You don't need a whole bunch of sugar. Just be super mindful of your food. Go for a walk. Just get your body moving. You'll be fine and back on track. All right.
All right. Britta asks, are there any easy on-the-go shakes, meal replacements? I'm too lazy on Monday mornings, even though I did do egg
Can you
prep
guys hear
burritos
him?
last night.
All right. Can you hear him? So who asked that?
Britta.
She says, I'm too lazy to prep some food. I need a great on-the-go snack, shake, supplements. So good question. In general, I want to say you should always have a water bottle with you wherever you go. I have my water bottle, right? Look at my cap doesn't match. Always have some water with you. It's super helpful. Your body's made up of 70% of water. You need some water. Now, supplements that I use. We've been talking about intermittent fasting a lot. And so I'm just going to rip this kit open. So I have a protein that I drink. It's a part of our intermittent fasting kit. You might be going, a protein that's a part of intermittent fasting. It's right after your intermittent fasting and right before you go to bed. Yes. And it also works for either a light snack or after you work out. So I use a keto protein. It's in our intermittent fasting kit, along with my ketones. It's my accelerated fat burning kit. And so this is what it is. It's got ketones. It's got our broth. It's got our ketones. It's got our protein and our electrolytes. If you want to know about intermittent fasting or this kit in general, first of all, it's going to kickstart you into intermittent fasting. It's going to help you realize that you're okay not eating breakfast. You've got some tools to help you with your appetite and your energy and turns your brain on. Post fasting in the comments and we'll chat. If you're just looking, like I don't have a meal replacement. I have a protein shake that you can add things to that works as a light snack. But in general, Britta, I would say if you're out the door and you don't normally eat breakfast, it's okay. Let's fuel your body so that you can focus during the morning with the ketones. And we'll talk about protein options and just getting things that are simpler for you. This kit is super helpful. Or even just grabbing our variety box of ketones, because this puts you in ketosis. So it's going to give you the energy, the focus, the appetite control that you need. Legitimately, the only supplements that I use, I get to experience ketones or ketosis every single day, and I don't have to be strict keto. So I've got ketones in my system. They're a fuel source. Post trial in the comments or just fasting, and then we'll chat. So, all right, what's next?
A lot of these have to do with the strict side of everything. Keto.
Oh, a strict ketogenic diet. Lots of questions, my husband said.
Do you do serving sizes with
keto?
All
right. Do I do serving sizes with keto? I think servings in general, I'll just say this. Most people are overeating and they're overeating good food. So I'm going to give you a very basic overview of keto versus low carb.
Oh, real quick though. Cody also asks, how do you actually eat and does it have to be measured?
How do you actually eat keto? Does it have to be measured? Perfect. All of this will go together. All right. A ketogenic diet, if you did not know, was made for medical reasons. Now they realize that when there's ketones in your body operates better. So if all you need to know is this, my body either runs off of glucose or ketones, right? A whole bunch of sugar and carbs. Or if I take those away, they're not all going to go away, but some of them, hopefully my body will make ketones. Here's what I need you to know. A ketogenic diet, truly, if done properly, is like 80% fat, 5% carbs, and some protein, right? So really high fat, really low protein. And if you do that for a certain amount of time, hopefully your body will make ketones. Not everybody's does. The only reason I know this is because I follow a whole bunch of doctors. I've learned from them. I've interviewed them. And they've even said from our stage, they've done it in interviews and said, even when they're coaching people on the ketogenic diet, they say, I don't really have a lot of people do keto. I have them do carb conscious or low carb, especially starting out. Because when you feel like you've got to track everything and measure everything, because if you're doing the keto diet, how it is prescribed, my husband did it 10 years ago, and he had a food weigher, like a food scale, and he measured everything, and he tracked every macro to a T. It stressed me out, and I wasn't even doing it, but I'm like, I don't even know. And I'm going to tell you, let me ask you this question as you're listening. Do you consider yourself keto or low carb? You're one or the other, right? And low carb is like dirty keto, lazy keto, carb conscious, anything that's, if you're not tracking your macros and you're not tracking your food, but you think you're keto, you're not. And that's okay, because a ketogenic diet, more carb conscious, a carb conscious lifestyle diet is more self-sufficient. What that looks like is I get up in the morning and I either intermittent fast, so I'm not eating breakfast. I'm going to either drink black coffee, I'm going to drink my water, I'm going to drink some electrolytes, I can drink my ketones, none of that break a fast. And I'm going to go and make some better options for lunch. I'm going to have a bunless burger, a salad, dressing on the side, croutons on the side, a lettuce wrap. I'm going to have some leftovers. I'm going to have a protein and a veggie, right? What you're doing is you're making better choices. I'm cutting out the sugar. I'm drinking more water. I'm moving my body. I'm being mindful. Now, a keto diet would have to track that all, making sure they're getting really high fat and their carbs are very, very low. Here's the biggest mistake out of anybody saying they're doing keto is all people hear is I can eat all of the fat that I want, all of the dairy that I want. I can eat all of the keto labeled foods that I want because I'm keto, and they don't actually count their food. So they make the excuse that they go about all their day like, I can eat that, it's keto. I can eat a pound of bacon, it's keto. And they're overeating good food. Or they get to the end of the day and they're like, if they're actually tracking their macros, they're like, Stephanie, I can still eat 12 grams of fat. Should I eat some fat bombs? And I'm like, no. Are you hungry? No. You don't need to eat to eat. You don't need to eat to fill in your macros. And just because it's labeled keto doesn't mean you need to eat it. So I think we have this concept of if it's keto, I can eat it, or if it's low carb, I can eat it, but stop it. You're overeating, you're over snacking. And I'm getting really worked up. But in general, if you're not hungry, go take a drink of water, get out of your kitchen, move your body. You can wait an hour for your meal. And all I'm saying is if your goal is fat loss and your goal is to get healthy, don't get mad at me. I'm just giving you some insight. I realize sometimes I get intense, but in general, it's just overeating. Does that make sense, babe?
That was great.
All right. My husband's asking questions if you're just tuning in. So I'm doing a Q&A. We had a whole bunch of questions asked earlier today. You can go back and watch the live. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. It is our blog and our website. Excuse me. Ask a question.
Lila wants to know, how do you know if you're in ketosis?
How do you know if you're in ketosis? Good question. There's a couple ways. There are urine strips. Just so you know, the urine strips are not accurate, especially the longer that you eat keto and low carb, even drinking ketones. Like you can pee on a strip, turns purple, gives you peace of mind. Awesome. The best way to do it is a blood meter. So we have them. You can get them on Amazon. I don't have a link. You could just go Google ketone blood meter, and you prick your finger, it tests your blood, it shows you that you're in ketosis. So if you like to and you want to have peace of mind, for sure, do it. It's about $5 a strip, I think, when you're testing your blood. When you're drinking ketones, you're in ketosis. Like, you don't have to be strict keto, but you've got the ketones in your system and you can feel it. So when I drink this packet every morning, which this is how I started. I didn't start with a diet. I actually started with this because it was the only way that I felt like I could handle not being overwhelmed by food, because I came rolling into this diet lifestyle because my husband wanted fat loss. I had just had our fourth daughter and I was exhausted. And I lived off of macaroni and cheese, chicken nuggets, Debbie snacks, corn dogs, anything. Pizza, pizza rolls, pizza pockets, pizza breakfast, pizza lunch. Like, that was me. And so when I realized that I needed to eat healthier, the idea of food and not eating something in a box or already made in a can was overwhelming to me. And so when my husband gave me this packet, which I had no idea what it was, I took this packet, I drank it, and he says, Stephanie, you're in ketosis. And I was like, awesome. I don't really know what that means, but I feel great. So I started with the product, and then from there, I worked on my food. So at any point in time, I have a basic foods list of how I started. You guys, it's not like this elaborate food list. It's like, here's some breakfast ideas, here's some lunch ideas, here's some dinner ideas, here's some snacks. It's what I did. I took one meal at a time, one day at a time. If you want the list to help you just have some visuals of some ideas, post food in the comments. If you, like me, get overwhelmed with food and recipes and you're like, but I don't want to go through the keto flu and I would love to have the energy and I'd love to not be snacking all day. How can I help those two things? And then I'll make better choices. Start with this and then I'll help you make better choices with food. So post trial in the comments because that's where I started. I didn't start with food because I actually walked out of the grocery store crying because I didn't know how to cut open an avocado and I had never bought vegetables that weren't in a can. So I started with ketones and then from there I learned how to make better choices and I'll help you with both of those. All right, what other questions do we have, babe?
There are a ton of questions.
A lot of questions.
About just recipes in general.
Oh, okay.
But, so tell them to just go Keto Mom Secrets.
So lots of people today were asking about recipes. Go to ketomomsecrets.com, click on recipes or post food below and we'll get you set. We'll share the recipes with you as well. Here's what I also want you to know.
One last question.
The simpler you keep it, especially in the beginning, the better. So when we decided that we were diving into getting healthier, number one, tell your family what you're doing. Don't say that you're fat, you need to lose weight, I don't like how I look, I'm just like, stop it. And I want you to be open and honest with your spouse and your kids. And I want you to say things like, hey, I need to get healthier for me so I can be a better version, a better mom for you or a better dad or a better spouse. But tell them where you want to go. And even, whether they join you or they just have an awareness of she or he, they're eating healthier, I should help them or I should keep some of the snacks out of the house. Or you want your children to do it with you. When you use the words like, I want to get healthier, I want to get stronger, I want to be a better version of me, they will join you, all right? And so recipes in general, don't overthink it. When we first started, I made the same 2 or 3 meals, honestly, for probably 6 months because I was overwhelmed. I made eggs, I made sausage, I made some hamburger with some broccoli and cauliflower in it, burgers. Like I was like, protein and a veggie, protein and a veggie. We drank our water, we cut out the sugar. You can go to Pinterest and you can type in keto meals, low carb meals. You can Google it. You can go, there's no shortage of meals. There's nothing. And so you might get bored. And sometimes I hate it when people say they're bored of meals because I'm like, oh man, there's so many options. And yet when we try to create this like 30-day meal plan of keto meals, then you just end up not doing any of it because then you need all of these ingredients. Like you don't need to have all things keto. Like stick to some proteins and some veggies. When you feel like you're bored, take a Saturday or a Sunday and try a new recipe and then incorporate that into your menu. I would just say though, don't get overwhelmed because then you'll just give up. All right, so one more question.
I got 3 questions.
Oh, 3 more questions. All right.
So how many days should I intermittent fast?
All right.
And then that's from Jeanette. And then
how many days should I intermittent fast?
And then Denise asked, why am I not losing any fat?
All right. How many days should I intermittent fast? What I'm coaching people and what I have been taught is if you can do a really great job Monday through Friday. What, babe?
I was going to say, and then Candace asks, is the 8-16 a good fasting ratio
to
start with?
I think the 8-16 fasting, basically you stop eating dinner, you go to the next day lunch. It's 16 hours of fasting. Your body is resting and metabolizing all of what it had before. Just so you know, intermittent fasting supports fat loss. You're not overeating. It supports brain health, body health, heart health. Like it's incredible. Go Google intermittent fasting. 16 hours, 8-hour window. It's going to help you not overeat. You're not starving. And what I love about the ketones that I'm drinking is it helps you get through those fasting periods. We do Monday through Friday. So when we're even coaching people, because we've got some groups that we're coaching people on this or however you want to get started, we do Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, if you decide to have an egg bake or you get up in the morning and have a great time with your family, you go to a church potluck, whatever it is, you're not here to like deprive yourself forever. You're here to stay great for that. And if you go to a birthday party, awesome. Enjoy yourself at the birthday party, and keep moving. Get back on track. So that's intermittent fasting. 16-8 is great. Monday through Friday, I think, is best. There was one more question. Oh, how to lose fat. If you don't feel like you're having success in fat loss, first of all, send me a message, and I would love to actually ask you what you're doing. But if you're not experiencing fat loss, number one, I want to know how long has it been. I want to know your expectations. You didn't, and I'm not trying to be mean, but you didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get there overnight. So you and I are going to have a conversation. If it's just you and me, I'm going to go, all right, how much do you want to lose? Okay. Tell me, how long have you been working on it? If it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there's things that we have to pay attention to. How is your energy? Are you seeing are your clothes fitting differently? Are you paying attention to inches lost? Can you walk further? Are you sleeping better? Because all of those things are better health, right? And realizing that fat loss will come, but there's things that we might have to tweak. So maybe you're eating too much fat. I'm going to tell you right now, when somebody tells me they're keto and they're not losing fat, and it's been a month, they're actually not doing keto. What they're doing is they're eating a ton of high-fat foods, but their carbs aren't low enough. So what they're doing is they're low carb, which is great. If you are low carb, just so you understand, if you're low carb or carb conscious, you don't get to eat all the fat that you want because that's just too many calories. So I'm going to assume you're just overeating and even overeating good food. So you and I are going to look at, are you moving your body? Are you drinking your water? Let's look at how much food that you're eating, and then we'll make a couple tweaks, and I'll help you from there. Does that make sense?
That was great.
All right.
I got one more question.
All right. One more question,
and
you guys.
This one is really good because
my husband's reading them.
So
Amber
asks, how do you make this a way of life without obsessing about food?
Okay.
I think about food all the time.
Thinking about food.
All the special alternatives, going out, ordering special things. How do you make this a way of life?
How do you make this a way of life without obsessing about food? There's so many ways I could go with that. All right. Let me ask you this question. So first of all, I would want to know what you want to accomplish. So what is your why? Why do you want to lose fat? You guys, I do get a lot of people that message me and they'll say all of the things I'm not motivated, but I need to lose fat and I don't feel good. They have all of this list of things that they're not feeling well, and yet they don't want to make some changes. And so how do you not think about food? Well, it's a good question. First of all, out of sight, out of mind. What do you really want? And are you feeling deprived because there's certain things you're not allowing yourself to have? I think we can get super obsessive about trying to make these very specific keto desserts and keto snacks and keto meals. So we try to buy all of the ingredients and try to make it taste like, a keto cookie versus a regular cookie. I would say this. What if you really stuck to a Monday through Friday where your goal was I'm going to do really great. I'm going to, first of all, work on my mindset so I'm not being obsessive about food. I'm going to have some gratitude of I'm excited to work on my health. I'm excited to hit these goals. But what if you're Monday through Friday, I'm going to do great. I've got my goals written out. I'm going to intermittent fast or eat a protein breakfast. I'm going to choose the best meals possible, only drinking water. I've given up my nightly alcohol. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of people that drink a ton of alcohol, and that's really one of the culprits of not losing your fat, just so you know. Also, and then on the weekends, you go, you know what? The things that I'm craving the most, I'm going to allow myself to have on Saturday, or I'm going to have something sweet on Sunday, or I'm going to have one of my favorite meals with my family on Saturday. So you know that you're not depriving yourself forever, but you're I'm sticking to this routine, and you're not saying no forever. Does that make sense, Steve? Now, there are little things out of sight, out of mind. So when you get the food off the counter, out of the desk drawer, not walking past the the food machines and things like that. Some of it is going to take discipline. All of this takes discipline, right? But there's some little hacks that can help you along the way. Drinking, if you crave something sweet, I drink our electrolytes. It's got, we've got an orange and a lemon and a lime. Putting some lemon in your water, different things to help with that. I will tell you, drinking ketones help with cravings. Drinking ketones help you get your mind off food. It sounds silly, but ketones are brain fuel and they're incredible. If they didn't work, I wouldn't drink them almost 8 years later. So if you've never tried these helpful little mom fuel, but not just for moms, for anybody, post trial down below, specifically if you're dealing with cravings, no energy, and obsessive about food, we need to chat. So post trial below and we'll chat. Otherwise, if you have other keto questions, any low carb questions, like if you want to connect with me, send me a message. You can ask some questions below. You can post food in the comments for a foods list. Post fasting down below if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting. I actually can't physically read your comments as you're saying them right now just because it goes too fast. Are you on there?
I can ask you a couple more. If they have questions.
Okay, ask some. If you guys have any more questions.
So back to fasting real fast.
Oh, we're going back to fasting.
Lacrissa is asking, could you tell me your time frame for the 16/8 and the times of day? Like what days and times do you fast?
So days and times of fastings, I do Monday through Friday. I stop eating dinner around 7 o'clock and I go to the next day. Usually we're not eating a meal until after CrossFit, which is 1 o'clock, but I drink my protein before I go. So it just depends. But count out 16 hours. Whenever you're done with your dinner, 16 hours to the next day. What can you have during your intermittent fasting window? Anything like Dr. Ryan Lowry, who is I had the book around here somewhere, who's the book of the Ketogenic Bible. It's fine, Steve. He says anything that's less than 100 calories, and like somebody would say, does this, like people say, why can you drink this on your intermittent fasting? The electrolytes won't raise your insulin, right? Or why can you drink this during your intermittent fasting? Because he's like, it's less than 100, it won't spike your insulin. So there are things that you can use to help during that window of fasting.
And Melinda is wondering, does putting almond milk in with your Pro, does that break your fast?
Good question. I don't know. I honestly would probably say no. I think Dr. Ryan said that you can do that. I just drink it with water, but I think there are a handful of people that do it. The only way you would actually know is if you tracked your insulin to see if it spiked your insulin or not. So I drink it right before we go to CrossFit, like an hour before we go.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. But I mean, some people are a little bit more sensitive, but I would say in general, this kit is incredibly helpful, even just to get you started on the track of intermittent fasting. And I use ketones every day.
You can tell Melinda. We'll go ask the doctors.
I'm going to ask the doctors, Melinda. Hey, I actually have 2 interviews. So I did an interview a little while ago with Dr. Ryan, who really covers, he talks about from a scientific level what these are, but he talks a lot about athletes and performance and brain fuel. Then I also did a interview with Dr. Andy, who really covers women and hormones and women and their bodies and ketones and the keto diet. And so they both are really incredible interviews. If you want to hear them, post interview in the comments and I'll send it to you. And so you can hear from doctors, 2 different doctors' points of view about this. And they also cover the keto diet and kind of some keto 101s if you don't want to just listen to a mom.
All right, tell Gina you'll send her a message.
All right, Gina, I'm going to send you a message. I'm not reading the comments. My husband is reading them for me.
All right, I think that's it.
Hey, you guys.
For you is why do you do what you do?
This is so great because I'm going to do a Zoom here on Thursday. So if you're watching, it is Monday live. On Thursday, you are invited. What are you invited to? So if you watch my stories, so usually you're going to see things about homeschooling. I'm a homeschool mom. We all go to CrossFit. Our kids are athletes. I like to say I'm a CrossFit mom athlete, but I go for functional fitness. My husband as well. We love our church. We love our friends. Like my stories are my life. In my life, you also get to see me sharing about ketones. And I just shared tonight about our community. So when I started drinking ketones, I thought it was just a great company, made a great product. I felt great. And then I soon realized there's an opportunity, there's a community, there's education. So the company that created this product also, we say we lead with education. So on Thursday, you are invited to a Zoom if you want to know more. And we're not necessarily talking about ketones. I'm going to talk about the opportunity. Because for me, almost 8 years ago, when I started drinking this product, I didn't intend on sharing it, but I loved the product so much and realized so many other moms needed what I had. And so I am and was a stay-at-home mom. And so my goal was, hey, if I can share something that first of all works, tastes great, and actually works and has science behind it, I can work from home and stay at home with our kids. And so if you're already drinking ketones and you're like, I'd love to know more about an opportunity, or how do I share it with my friends? If you're a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you're not, or a dad, or you want some extra income, if you're looking for friends, a community of people, whatever you need. Like, I want to get out of debt. I want to do something on the side. I want to take my family on a vacation. Whatever it is, I would love to invite you to the Zoom. So post Zoom in the comments and we'll chat. It's going to be on Thursday. You're not just going to hear my story. You're going to hear from my team. We're going to talk about what the opportunity is about. We're going to talk about our team, what we do. You know what's super interesting? And then I'll end on this. My husband and I were chatting, and there's something that's becoming quite popular in the world, specifically in the United States, but I would say in the world, and they're called masterminds, and I think they're great. And it's where you meet with people and your goal is to find like-minded people. And a lot of these masterminds that you can become a part of cost a lot of money. But you're around like-minded people that want to elevate their level of thinking or their life or their finances, like whatever that is. And so my husband and I were sitting around thinking I think it was this morning. And Steve said, Stephanie, did you know that our community, like our business, is an incredible mastermind? Because I thought I was just drinking ketones, but if you would have met me almost 8 years ago, I am not the mom I was 8 years ago. Now, of course, I've had 8 more years of experience, but the company and our CEO and our team and our friends and the leadership has poured.
Whoa.
Poured. Oh, I hope I don't get flagged for that. Has poured, don't laugh, has poured in to my husband and myself. And I was like, man, we have our own mastermind, and it's just based around ketones and creating a community of moms and dads and people that really, truly, number one, want to work on themselves, not in a selfish way, but in a way of like, I would love more confidence. I would love to learn more. Oh no, don't say that in the comments. I would love to learn more about what you do. I would love to help provide for my family. I want to take my kids on a vacation. I want to drink free ketones. So we are going to do a Zoom on Thursday. If you want to be a fly on the wall, listen, my husband always says flies can't hear. So I don't know why you say that. But if you want to be a fly on the wall, because I really like that saying, and you want to hop on the Zoom and listen to me and some incredible other stories, post Zoom in the comments and we will chat. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an incredible night. Thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. I hope you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.